Is Friday, February 12th, 2016, and this is rant is in response to last night's debate, and it will be entitled, I am not a single issue voter. So I watched the debate last night. I read a lot about it, taking a look at everything that was going on. Obviously, neither candidate hit a home run. But what I really saw there was that Hillary Clinton just knew her positions forward and backwards, inside and out. Bernie, especially at the beginning of the debates, seemed awfully caught up, seemed awfully like a little bit of a broken record where everything would go back to tearing down Wall Street. And of course, Hillary said at the end of the debate that I am not a single issue candidate, and of course, I am not a single issue voter. And now, as I said, neither one hit a home run, and I really see a lot of humanity in Hillary when she gets up there and talks, because we've known who Hillary is, let's say, for the last 25 years. She's been vilified right and left. She's been torn apart, and so we know who she is. But you know, for all of the stuff that has gone on in reference to Hillary, she's been under a severe and critical lens. And when you look at most of the arguments against her, that most of them really, don't add up. We have seen a lot of vile and vitriol against Hillary. And she has just, it just rolls right off her. She just continues to keep on going. Now, I just want to make a couple critical comments in there. Bernie is talking about single payer, and of course, Hillary points out, before there was Obamacare, there was Hillary Care. So she knows the industry, the medical industry, inside and out. She knows what is actually achievable, or what should be able to be achieved. Now, my biggest point on the whole thing is that we already have Obamacare. We've already, the vast majority of Americans are already covered by insurance through their employers. And that through Obamacare, I think we got another 16, 18 million insured. We still need to get another 10%, which may be as much as another 30 million insured. We have to keep chipping away at that. To throw the whole thing out and to bring in single payer may not be the best thing to do today. Not saying that we can't continue to strive for it, but we got to take every advantage that we can get as we try and get more and more people insured. And Hillary has fought for women's issues. She has fought for children's issues. She has fought for black issues. She has been, she was recently in Flint, Michigan, for the crisis that's going on in Flint, Michigan. She talked very, let's just say, wholeheartedly in reference to the tragedy that's going on in Central America, where children are being sent up to the United States because their parents are either coming with them or sent alone because their parents do not think that they can survive in that area. So she is, and of course, not only we're talking about blacks, Hispanics, we're talking about the water crisis, we're talking about economic issues, we're talking about LGBT issues, we're talking about women's issues, and I think on all of those issues, Hillary has been involved in all of that for a long time. She has made mistakes, as we all have made mistakes, and it seems as if Bernie's fans, want to criticize her for all her mistakes. But she's learned from those mistakes. She's willing to move on from those mistakes. That's what progressives do, so to speak. We're not all, we're not all remotely even close to being perfect. And to come back time and time again shows a lot of resiliency on Hillary's part. Now, as I mentioned, no one hit any home runs in there. Hillary just seems to me is just chipping and chipping and chipping away at all of the things that she wants to do that is progress, and they're nuanced. There's minutia in there. They're not easy, and we have huge problems with our friends on the GOP side who will use every ounce of their vileness to keep any of those things happening. And Bernie keeps talking about a revolution, and you know, I've been around this place before. So if I go back to '76, Carter was supposed to do all that stuff. I go back to 1992, and Clinton was supposed to do all that stuff. I go back to 2008, and especially in 2008, where we all elected Obama, and we thought he'd go in there and do all this stuff that he said he was going to do. But it's not only going to take the election, but it's going to take all the populace behind that election that brings, let's say, Hillary or Bernie to the presidency, that will need to continue day in and day out afterwards. And the question is, you know, will there be enough pressure to continue to move that president in that direction? But we know one thing is that Hillary's going to be moving in all kinds of directions. And Bernie seems to be caught pretty much still on that same Wall Street loop, that once we take care of this Wall Street thing, everything will sort of pan out by itself. And I'd say make an exception to that and only bring up one or two issues. Let's just bring up the issue of Ferguson. Well, we need to redo police procedures all across the United States. That's going to take a lot of money. That's going to take a lot of training. I understand what policing is all about. You know, there's a hierarchy system there. The only way you're going to get to the top in a police system is you're going to have to play the ball. You have to play the game. So, you know, those are the people that have to be weeded out first if you're going to change the process. How are you going to change the process? Are you going to have some type of social worker along at special calls with the police? Will the social workers have the authority to go in without the police? Does the police officer have to be a social worker? All of these types of things have to be worked at and come about. It's not going to happen overnight. The same thing with the Flint, Michigan thing. All right, there's no easy answers to that. It's going to take time. It's going to take money. And of course, that's not the only place that it's happening in Flint, Michigan, because we see that it's already happening somewhere in Mississippi. Was it Jackson, Mississippi? And it's happening in a couple of other places. So there's big problems that have to be worked on, and they have to be worked on quickly. They have to be, and it's got to take money that's got to be do it. We have to come up with solutions that have to be done on it, and it's not going to be easy to get some of these things done, and we need someone in there who will be relentless in pursuing those things and not being a single issue voter. No, excuse me. I am not a single issue voter, saying that it certainly appears now that Hillary is starting to climb up and starting to show. One other quick thing is that Hillary has had a number of endorsements from black pastors, and as we get into the South, we'll see if that type of change is going on. Because even though in the on TV all the time, you know, Bernie's got the momentum, Hillary's fading, Hillary's campaign blows, all this kind of stuff. You know, a lot of the average Democrats haven't taken that close a look at it. They haven't necessarily looked that close at Hillary. They haven't necessarily looked that close at Bernie. What will they see as it comes time to get ready to vote? We shall see.